Welcome back, Cheney. It is time to meet our teams once again on the red half of the field. We've got team 29-26.
From Wapano Senior High School, that's the Robo Sparks.
In that middle spot, give it up for team 82-48.
They're from Seattle, Washington, the Chain Lynx.
And we've got the Bach Box. It's 1540.
From Portland, Oregon, the Flaming Chickens.
On the Blue Alliance, we have from Spokane, Washington, team 1595.
They're from St. George's School right here in Spokane, the Dragons.
They are joined by team 44.
Out of Hillsboro, Oregon, Shockwave.
And last but not least, we've got team 4131.
They're from Renton, Washington, the Iron Patriots.
Drivers behind the lines, we're getting started in 3, 2, 1, go!
Back from our break, kicking off qualification match number 71, 29-26. The Robo Sparks, they have their eyes set on those pre-stage fuel penned off just in their red Alliance zone by their Alliance wall. Flaming Chickens going for some extra fuel. 4488 Shockwave, they're gonna pause their autonomous just in front underneath that front trench bar. Red Alliance quickly working to score some fuel all across that Red Alliance zone into the Red Hub. And that does put them in the lead in our autonomous mode, 78-14. Our current live scores, the Blue Alliance will have their first turn at the Alliance scoring in just a couple seconds. We're in a Blue Alliance specific shift with not really any Blue Alliance robots in that zone. And as I say, that Shockwave 4488 lines up just in front of that Blue Alliance hub. Various pieces of fuel flying from, I believe, Flaming Chickens as they navigate around 4131's defense out in the neutral zone. That fuel ends up in various places all around the scoring table. They'll now line up and try to score some of that fuel inside of the Red Alliance hub. Flaming Chickens, they've got some fuel out near the outpost by our human players at the bottom left corner of the field. Two Red Alliance robots out in the neutral zone. They meet two Blue Alliance robots. It's going to be 1595, the Dragons, and 4488 Shockwave. That third Blue Alliance member is 4131. They're out in red territory trying to slow down and shove around some of those Red Alliance members. Just as their shift expires, the fortuitous bounce of a misaligned piece of fuel, it bounces off the carpet and right into 4131's hopper. Regardless of the status of their intake, they at least have one piece of fuel under their control. 8248 lets loose a bunch of pieces of fuel passed over to their side of the field. They're preparing for their next Alliance-specific shift in just a couple seconds. Here they go now. Flaming Chickens were already in position, ready to score, and they do kind of just that. They got a hopper load of fuel in their machine. Chain Lynx as well, with a couple of fuel. They go out to the neutral zone to gather some more, and on the way, maybe grab a piece or two out near that hub. Now Chain Lynx just on the edge of their Alliance zone. They score some fuel into that Red Alliance hub, and they go back for more. They get pushed out of there by 4131, the Iron Patriots, just as we enter under 30 seconds. End game clock now running. We look to see as both Alliance hubs lining up to score in their activated states. And just like that, scoring pauses for a second for the Flaming Chickens line up at that rear wall. They eye a stockpile of fuel there in the top left corner, and they're looking to capitalize on it, scoring in that Red Alliance hub. The Dragons, 1595, they have a hopper full of fuel, but they appear to have opted to defend against 1540 to Flame Chickens instead. We end our match with a live scorer in one position. We'll see what changes our referees have to add with their various flag waving techniques, and a thumbs up from our head referee means our scores are ready to go. The Red Alliance ultimately does become the winner in that match, 402-235. Your final tally with 5 ranking points for that victory to the Red Alliance. That moves the Chain Lynx up to 35th, Robo Sparks up to 23rd, and 1540 just on the edge of Alliance selection positioning in 10th.
Thanks, Austin, for that commentary on match 71. Back up here at the sports desk, equipped with diamond-plated pickaxe. Welcome, Jake Enos, back up to the desk. Match 71, we are just shy of 3/4 of the way through our qualification rounds, and we talked a little bit, Brett and I talked about the propensity for defense arriving later in our competition. I think this match, we had a great example of that I wanted to talk about in our match highlight. And I mean, yeah, feel free if you have defensive-minded thoughts. Maybe we should clear the fire off the screen
Probably
now.
should, yeah.
Just a thought. Because we got to focus on the fire defense that's going to happen up here in this corner. This is Iron Patriots, 41-31 on the Blue Alliance. And next to them, you'll see the Red Alliance machine. This is the Chain Links bot right here. As we roll this forward, I want to talk about the difference of this type of defense versus what we saw with Stormbots. And I think even you and Brett talked a little about that yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a bunch of different types of defense that you can play. And as the season has progressed, we've seen a lot of those, defense strategies change. And zoning defense is really, really important in this game, especially when you're trying to block off that fuel, right? Especially those turret bots, really especially, and I know Chainlinks doesn't have a turret, right? But Flaming Chickens does. And those turret bots really need that fuel supply that's in the back of the field. And if you can prevent them, right, from getting any closer, getting in between that fuel and that robot, then they're going to be starved of fuel as soon as they empty that hopper.
Yeah, and I think locking down that particular trench was a really interesting strategy. We see a lot of really aggressive push and shove type of defense. Like I've talked about, I don't want to be on the receiving end of Stormbots' defense. I don't know that I want to be on the receiving end of Iron Patriots' defense either, though, because at least Stormbots hits me, and if my bumpers can take it, I probably make it through. Iron Patriots are just going to push you out of the zone completely. Back out the trench you go, see in the neutral zone, have a nice hike. Yeah. And you are only able, if I recall correctly, right, you can only launch your fuel on your side of the field, so if they push you too far out, they've completely shut off your offense.
Yeah, not only can you not shoot from the center of the field, it's actually a penalty if you shoot from the center of the field into your own hub. So we advise against doing that. We've seen it happen.
Life advice.
Life advice, don't shoot from the neutral zone.
Although I think taking life advice from people with J names, I don't know, the internet says that's bad. I don't know.
I don't know.
But some advice I will give is to stay tuned for match 72, which will be queued up here in just a few minutes.
Moving right along to introduce our next set of Red Alliance teams, starting with 5937.
From Mercer Island High School, that's MI Robotics.
They are joined by 4125.
Hailing from Umatilla, Oregon, Confidential.
And currently sitting in the 4th ranked spot, give it up for 4915.
From Bainbridge Island, Washington, Spartronics.
On the Blue Alliance, we've got another sneaky, quiet team. Give it up for 4089.
That's Stealth Robotics from Duval.
They are paired with 4512.
That's Otter Chaos from Everett, Washington.
And we've got team 360.
Hey, we're spinning around from Tacoma, Washington, the Revolution.
Drivers behind the lines, we are kicking it off in 3, 2, 1, go!
Some interesting positioning here for both of our Red Alliance, or all three of our Red Alliance machines, actually. in Autonomous, they decide to opt to place themselves underneath the red trenches, blocking the gates, all that jazz. Either way, in Autonomous, both alliances quickly scoring fuel. A piece of fuel falls from the hub into a 4089 machine parked directly in front of the hub. We'll see what the referees have to say about that later on in the match. But first, we got Tally Up underway, 107-56, your live score in the transition shift. That means we're going over to a Blue Alliance-specific shift just now. Those Blue Alliance robots working away on that in this confidential versus stealth match, and their various friends. Who can be the best spy in qualification match number 72. 360 working away. They've got a hopper load of fuel. They make their way to underneath the blue trench, just on the edge of their Alliance zone. They're lined up with that Blue Alliance hub in the final seconds of that shift. They're joined by 4089 Stealth Robotics, both those machines scoring in the blue hub. Now 360's back at, and actually Stealth as well. Those two friends working away in the Red Alliance zone now as Red Alliance is on the clock. They push up against some of those Red Alliance robots, playing a little bit of defense as a piece of fuel flies just outside the rear field wall. 49-15 for the Red Alliance. That's Spartronics. They're looking for some fuel. They've spotted just a little bit of a stash underneath the bottom left corner by their human players, and they clear that out in the final few seconds. Now Stealth Robotics and 360 full of fuel. They release their hoppers into the top of the Blue Alliance hub. As 59-37 MI Robotic, those snails working to clear the fuel out of the Blue Alliance zone into the Red Alliance's half of the field. They ferry a whole load of fuel themselves in their hopper and start launching just in time for that Red Alliance shift. Under a minute left to play. This is our final Alliance-specific shift of match number 72. Our live score currently in favor of the Blue Alliance, but not by much. Red Alliance quickly racing. They've got to score about 40 points in the next 40 seconds to at least catch up to that lead. Last couple seconds before endgame, the Red Alliance working to get one final shift, but 360 says no. MI Robotics pushes, or gets pushed by the Revolution. Back up the bump they go. Will they decide to pass? No, 360 playing a game of chicken with them. Will they go for the bump? Will they go for the trench? No, and Revolution has them blocked either way. MI Robotics ends up on top of the Revolution at the red bump. Red and blue navigating around the neutral zone. Stealth Robotics returns home. They join their alliance partner, Otter Chaos, who scores some final pieces of fuel. One final arc of fuel in the Blue Alliance goal. MI Robotics did successfully make it back home in the end, but with half a hopper load of fuel in their machine. The lead kind of went back and forth there a little bit there in our live score. What do our referees have to say? Our referees give the all clear on those results. So up on the big screen. The Blue Alliance does ultimately maintain their lead, 438 to 405. Some excellent work from both alliances. They both earn the 2 extra bonus rank points for the energized and supercharged bonuses. The Blue Alliance ultimately with the 3 ranking points for that victory.
Still some wild stories left to tell here in our qualification matches, and that one a very close nail-biter of a match the whole way through. We actually had to scrap a story we had in development here just as the match kind of evolved, which is always a lot of fun. 4089 moving up in the rankings along with both of their alliance partners. And Jake, I think we have other things queued up for 4089.
For 4089, oh yes, of course. Sorry, I completely forgot about what we had queued up.
Unscripted.
Just talking about it like 30 seconds ago. Yeah, we have our good friend Kevin Ross in the pits with a Kevin in the pits. Let's see it.
We're here with Team 489. This is Marco. He is the one of the lead programmers here on the team. Marco, you have a simulation here that you use to create your driving code. Tell me about that a little bit.
All right, well, at the beginning of the season, we knew we wanted to do a really complicated shoot-on-the-move algorithm. That was going to be really important this year, and we wanted a good platform to develop that. So I have some experience with the Unity game engine, and so I thought it would be a great idea to simulate our robot in that engine and allow us to develop our code.
Can you show us what that looks like?
Yeah. So here's our robot. It's our full robot CAD. Here's our turret tracking. I coded all the subsystems in Unity. So we have like intaking, turret tracking, shooting, all of that. So we can see intaking some balls. and then we can shoot. And we have our shoot on the move algorithm implemented, and you can see it working here.
And you know, we've been watching you guys play. This looks so realistic to how you guys actually drive and shoot.
Oh yeah.
Have you found it to be a pretty good driving aid or teaching aid for driving the robot?
Yeah, it's great for drive practice, especially when hardware is working on the robot and we just want to warm up for our matches. We can get drive practice on this. In fact, we've developed some new strategies using this where, you know, we don't get very much time in the matches to actually develop new strategies. However, when we're in the sim, we can try out new things, and we may find, you know, a really good meta that we can use in a match.
That is awesome. Congratulations. That is very, very impressive. Thanks for telling us about it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Let's welcome our next set of teams to the field. On the red side, we've got 7034.
They're from Westland, Oregon, to be determined.
In the middle spot, it's 948.
From Bellevue, Washington, NRG to Newport Robotics Group.
And we have team 957.
From South Albany, it's the Swarm, South and West Albany Robotics Maniacs.
On the blue half of the carpet, make some noise for team 5468.
From Bend, Oregon, that's Chaos Fury.
They are joined by team 10416.
From the Spokane Valley of Washington State, that's the Radical Raccoons.
And we've got team 2412.
From Sammamish High School in Bellevue, Washington, the Robo Totes.
We've got the thumbs up. Drivers behind the lines in 3, 2, 1, go.
Chaos Fury races just in front of To Be Determined here in the neutral zone of Autonomous for match number 70. Freeba NRG and To Be Determined, both with a hopper load of fuel. They deliver it into the Red Alliance hub. Chaos Fury, they gather some fuel as well underneath the blue trench. Off they go, launching into the Blue Alliance hub. Live score is separated by a little bit under 20 points. It's going to be a Red Alliance lead, so a Blue Alliance start here for our first Alliance Pacific shift. There's that sound now. We begin our Alliance Pacific shift. The Raccoons making their way over to Blue Alliance bump. They line up to score. The third Blue Alliance here about the Robo Totes, 2412. They're gathering some fuel from the neutral zone, trying to make our way up the Blue Alliance ramp or bump. To Be Determined, capitalizing the space underneath the Blue Alliance trench at the rear to pass fuel from the edge of the Blue Alliance zone into their territory. Their Alliance partners 948 and 957, these 3-digit team numbers. Relatively old here in the community. They're scoring some fuel. They were ready to go when that shift started, and they begin to score again in that Red Alliance hub. Robo Totes, meanwhile, they're pushing up against several Red Alliance bots. To Be Determined and NRG, both under the scrutiny of Robo Totes as they gather some more fuel to send back home to their shift that begins now. Chaos Fury, they're doing their thing, sweeping underneath that Alliance wall. They can move and lock on to these April tags on the Blue Alliance hub and launch from wherever they darn well please in their side of the field in the hub. Radical Raccoons, they've gathered a half full load of fuel and they're making their way actually in the neutral zone. I thought they're making their way towards the blue bump. There they go now, just as their shift expires. Robo Totes bumps to the To Be Determined, and I see a band or a belt of some variety on the carpet. Did that come from to be determined? Has that affected their intake capacity? We'll see as they try to gather some fuel just by their red tower. I see pieces of fuel entering to be determined, so it looks like no impact there. Mitigated impact there at least as we enter the last 30 seconds of the match. Both Alliance hubs now active, and 957 makes their way towards the Blue Alliance. Robots a precarious position as those towers become a little bit more protected at the end of the match. I saw at least one referee flag wave there, so we'll see what happens after the end of the match. 5 seconds left on the clock, rather 6 seconds left on the clock. 5 seconds now as to be determined ends their match near the red tower. Time expires with a live score seemingly very close. 397 for 17. These numbers are kind of hard. Let's see what how referees have to say after they confirm the fouls and all of that last minute scoring and whatnot. It looks like that is confirmed from our head referee. He's given the all clear. So your final results up on the big screen. It is in the end a Red Alliance victory, 419 to 408. 11 points the difference there. Both alliances do walk away with both of the bonus fuel ranking points, but the Red Alliance does earn those extra 3 for the win, moving them upwards in the standings.
And the leaderboard game of Boggle continues as we shuffle positions about 6 or so through, let's call it 20, 24 it looks like. Chaos continues, and in this one, we get to see just how intense that end game period is when both hubs turn on. You know, we spend all of Teleop going back and forth between the red and blue hubs being active for just a segment of time each. But the final 30 seconds, free for all, and in this one we see the match swinging wildly, like 30 to 50 points at a time, even tying the game up for a bit. Jake, I think you had some thoughts. I mean, I definitely heard the thoughts in real time.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I think it's so unbelievably critical when both of those hubs are active that you are putting in your all. We've seen matches flip in those last couple of seconds. And, you know, oftentimes there'll be a team that comes into endgame with a lead, and it's kind of hard to tell where teams are, right? Because only one alliance can score at a time, and so generally endgame is that first time where you really get to see the scores level since the autonomous period.
Right.
And in that time, I think people, the drivers will see the score, whatnot, and either lock in or it gets in their head and we see strategies start to fall apart. So we do have
This one was a lock-in example, I would argue.
Yes, yes. And so we do have a highlight for you that we can roll here. And so we look at this field here. We're about 20 seconds out. And Chaos Theory shooting those last couple of fuel on that blue side of the field. And you'll look at the scores. Now they've tied it up, right? And over on the red side of the field, they look like they're not even going to be close. But then there's that whole cycle that gets unloaded here from these two red
first
robots.
2B, and then, I guess it was 948, and then 2B, and then back to 948. Just to pick up that last little bit, they won by 9 points. They were tied or even trailing at one point there.
Yeah, and it's super critical to get those last couple of shots off. Something that people may not know is actually after that buzzer hits, right, and the field turns off, the field doesn't actually turn off. Those indexers keep counting points. So even those last second shots by the human players or the ones that are still arcing in the air still get counted. So it's really, really critical that you are locked in right until the end of the match.
That's also why we emphasize, on the game announcer side of the world, like, these live scores we're talking about are unofficial, or at least we try to remind you all of that, because the live score actually freezes up on the screen when time hits 0, and then there's not like a big conspiracy where we're all like, all right, +1 here, +2 here.
Let's go to the script and change the scores, right? Yeah.
Right, who was supposed to win this one? No, it's the hub just counting everything up there at the end. And then, of course, the traversal points at the end when those exist. Stares into camera blankly. All right, we'll head back down to the field for match number, what are we, 73 now, I believe.
We are rolling right into this next qualification match, but before we meet our teams, I want to give a brief reminder to all of the alumni in the building. We will be taking an alumni photo down at the field following the end of the last qualification match today. So after match 87, come on down if you're an alum and you can get your photo taken with all of us. And with that, we will meet our teams. On the red side, we've got 25-21.
From Eugene, Oregon, that's CERT.
They are joined by team 29-76.
From Sammamish, Washington, the Sparta Bots.
And we've got 4-9-2.
They join us from Bellevue, Washington, that's the Titan Robotics Club.
On the Blue Alliance, please welcome to the field team 997.
From Corvallis, Oregon, Spartan Robotics.
In the middle, it's 488.
It's time for Team XBot from Seattle.
And we have team 4061.
From Pullman, Washington, out east, the Cyborgs.
Drivers behind the lines. We're ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go!
Qualification match number 74 on the docket. We've got robots navigating around. Free red robots active and autonomous, storing fuel in the hub. Blue Alliance working away, 4061. The Cyborgs, they gather some fuel from just in front of their Blue Alliance hub. And off they go, looking to score in teleop, all 6 of these robots indeed. 5 seconds left here on this transition shift, and the Blue Alliance will be first to go to the Alliance-only shifts. After some last-minute scoring from the Red Alliance, they scored just a few more fuel to add to their tally, and 488 Team XBot in a precarious spot after that Blue Alliance bump. They end up beached on some fuel. After getting briefly attacked here by a piece of fuel over here at the scoring table adjacent area. We got fuel coming out from 2521. That's going to be CERT, South Eugene Robotics team. Navigating around the field here. Red Alliance is on the clock. 997 Spartan Robotics looking to steal some fuel from that Red Alliance teams. 997 and 4061, both Blue Alliance members working to try to free their Alliance partner XBot from that fuel. Robot is also trapped as XBot appears to free themselves before getting underneath the Blue Alliance trench. 2976, the Sparta bots appear to be inactive in the Blue Alliance zone as their Alliance partner just next to them, 2521, CERT. Launches some fuel vaguely in the direction of the question box or the referees or something. They're trying to get that fuel in the Red Alliance zone, however. Off we go again. The Red Alliance back on the clock. They're on the offensive. 25-21 cert. They're on a couple of their wheels. I believe that is a recoverable position as they do navigate around and pick up some fuel. 492 Titan Robotics Club, they managed to pick up some fuel and get over to that Red Alliance hub. Sparta Bots, however, did rejoin briefly. They made their way from the Blue Alliance zone to the Red Trench. But ultimately, in the end, 492 Titan Robotics Club does gather some fuel in 25-21 cert out in the neutral zone as well. They go up over the Red Alliance hub, gathering some fuel now in the Red Alliance zone. 4061 is the Cyborgs. They gather some more fuel for the Blue Alliance zone. Some final shots from 488 Team Xbot. They are in the bottom right corner of the field as they try to add some collection to their hub. 3 seconds left now in the match. Some final shots on both sides just as the buzzer sounds. Thumbs up from our head referee on those scores. The Red Alliance is the victor in qualification match number 74. 240 to 124, the final tally, with 4 ranking points to the Red Alliance, moving them upwards in our standings.
Jake, these matches, super exciting as always. Not really too many sleepers this weekend, and you know, it's a great reminder when we get to this level of competition of just why, especially us folks with too many years of this, you know, like to do this stuff, and really, like, why are we still here? Not in the philosophical sense that I usually get into, why are we here, but why are we here today? Why are you here, Jake?
Well, I guess I could tell a little story.
Speech.
I had a mentor, who was a very good mentor to me. There's a certain team, which I'm not allowed to show my team colors.
Yeah,
but there's
your team field crew.
There's a certain team up in the stands whose head mentor was kind of like my second mother, and unfortunately passed away after winning Woody Flowers here. And so I decided to, you know, continue mentoring on some other teams and, you know, try to really, I guess, continue that community and that legacy and whatnot. And I love volunteering because it's just a lot of fun. You know, I see a lot of these super young, brilliant people out here that are all building these incredible robots. Some of my favorite things to do is like, when there's I talked to this bus driver the other day who might be here today, but I got to explain, like, oh, this is what this competition is. And I was like, by the way, these robots are all built by high schoolers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, these are not simple machines. You know, they're not quite rocket surgery, but they are still quite advanced machines. We talked earlier about the lots of sensors that it takes to do. We've talked about the power in the motors that it takes, and we had to shrink the number of motors you're allowed to have just so you're not like completely knocking the field walls out of alignment. And these are very practical tasks. I mean, okay, say what we will about Recycle Rush being warehouse simulator, but these games have practical applications in the real world and very similar things. And I think today's a great commemoration of that.
Yeah, let's talk about the real world for a second. So I'm sure that everyone here is aware of the current Artemis 2 mission around the moon. Very exciting. We've just gotten word that they've actually just re-entered the atmosphere, and we were kind of stalling to time everything right. We actually have a live feed. Let's take a look at the feed.
Views of integrity. Still waiting to establish voice communication.
Integrity, Houston, comm check, post-blackout.
Houston, Integrity, we have you loud and clear.
Your trajectory is nominal, and your recovery teams have visual.
Guidance looks good.
No action for the enabled internal camera controller fail.
Big cheers from the viewing room here in Mission Control as voice communication reestablished with Commander Reed Wiseman. For America and a waiting world, Integrity is 5.5 minutes away from coming home. Passing 100,000 feet now. Range to splashdown 19 nautical miles.
Integrity impact to the camera controller fail is no Cab 1 views of the chutes.
Integrity.
We're processing good data through the GPS system. A good view of Integrity, time to splashdown 4.5 minutes. And a view of Integrity from the WB-57. We're at 50,000 feet. The pyros are armed for forward bay cover jettison. And there go the first series of parachutes, and we're on drogues.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drogues out the window.
2 good drogue chutes. Next up,
We copy, we see them.
Next up, the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Perfect descent rate according to Flight
Integrity,
Dynamics.
Good rates on 2 drogues.
We see the same on board.
Passing through 10,000 feet, still on drogues. Main chute deploy. We're at 5,000 feet. Search and recovery beacon has been activated on Integrity. And we have 3 good main chutes. Good 3 main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
Good rates, and we see 3 good-looking parachutes. Integrity. Cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
Integrity copies.
This is a perfect descent for Integrity. Its crew sounding hale and hearty on board. Time to splash down 1 minute, 15 seconds. Integrity about to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon. Passing through 1,000 feet.
Houston Integrity, splashdown, sending post-landing command now.
Splashdown confirmed.
Copy splashdown, waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon, a new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth. And the landing and support officer reports the vehicle is stable 1. We still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation. A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
Welcome back to Earth, Integrity, and crew. And welcome back to robot action. We'll go ahead and get everything started back up here in the venue. But remember, folks, this is why we do this stuff. That could be you. You, too, could go to the moon and come back. And also, you could help the crews do that stuff. It's really why we do that. It's
We
why
literally
build
have the
these
future
things.
Martians here.
All right,
set that up
Jake.
perfectly.
All right. We're going to get the robots fired up and ready to go. And we'll be right back for more Pacific Northwest District Championship after this real-world intermission.
And before we meet our teams, we want to read to you a quote from 1962 when President Kennedy was preparing for going to the moon. The quote is, "We chose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills, because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too." And this quote really relates to FIRST and all of the great work you students are doing here today that will eventually lead to amazing feats like going to the moon and all that good stuff. So, congratulations. Let's go ahead and welcome our teams to the field. Starting on the red side, we've got Team 1983.
A 4-H team from Seattle, that is Skunkworks Robotics.
In the middle spot, it's 955.
From Corvallis, Oregon, Control C.
And rounding out the red side, give it up for 6696.
From Corvette, Oregon, Cardinal Dynamics.
On the Blue Alliance, we have Team 3663.
Out of Bothell, Washington, CPR, Cedar Park Robotics.
They are joined in the middle spot by Team 2910.
Just down the road from them in Mill Creek, Jack in the Box.
And we've got Team 1318.
From Issaquah, Washington, the Issaquah Robotics Society, or IRS.
Drivers behind the lines, we are getting started in 3, 2, 1, go!
Welcome back, Artemis 2, and welcome back to FIRST, our next generation of innovative high school-aged youth. We're in qualification match 75, 3/4 of the way through our qualification matches. We have some pretty high-powered teams on the field ready to play our robot game. Two Blue Alliance robots currently active in the neutral zone. The third, 3663 CPR, briefly beached on some fuel, but they do get freed by the cooperation of their Alliance partners. Some great teamwork there. Red Alliance working together now. 955 Control C. They're working to clear some fuel out of the neutral zone towards the Red Alliance side of the field. With a Blue Alliance shift currently on the move, that does mean the Blue Alliance was at a slight deficit, now only 4 points the scoring margin. And they now quickly retake the lead in the remaining seconds of their Blue Alliance shift. 3 seconds left on the clock for them as Jack and Bob and CPR ramp over the Blue Alliance bumps. Now the Red Alliance is trying to add to their tally. 1983 Skunkworks and 955 Control C working to clear out their stockpile of fuel. IRS has something to say about that. They bump into the rear of Control C. 1318, the IRS, joined by their alliance partner now 3663. These two Blue Alliance robots working to clear out the remaining fuel in the Blue Alliance zone. Back to blue we go with 2910 Jack and the Bot, their newly designed or rebuilt robot, designed more for scoring rather than passing, and they do just that, scoring a hopper load of fuel into the Blue Alliance hub. They now encounter Skunkworks robotics there in the neutral zone. And just across the field from them is the other two members of that Red Alliance. 1983 Skunkworks clearing out some of the Blue Alliance fuel towards the red side. And 2910, another load of fuel in the Blue Alliance hub. 955 Control C doing what they can to clear out some of the extra fuel built up in that top left corner of the field just by their driver stations. They are on their final Alliance-specific shift. Some long-range shots courtesy of, I believe, a IRS 1318. All the way across the field near to their outpost, from one outpost to another, with just a few seconds left till end game. We're back now in 30 seconds of end game. Both Alliance hubs active. 2910 Jack and Bot works on yet another load of fuel into that Blue Alliance hub. Unfortunately, 3663 CPR not connecting out in the red territory. They've got just a few seconds left, 12 to be precise on the clock. 1983 lining up with some additional fuel in the hub. They're working to get that fuel in the Red Alliance hub, which is a few seconds left now. 955 Control C makes their way towards the red tower. The lead flipped back and forth a couple times there, but which Alliance will make their way out with the at least 3 ranking points, if not more. We'll find out with a thumbs down from a referee. We'll be right back after a brief discussion. Andy, head referee, now gives the all clear on those scores after a quick little chat. You got those up for you on the big board now. The Blue Alliance ultimately with the win in that match by 28 points, 358 to 330 to tally. Both alliances are energized and they earn that bonus rank point. But 29-10 remains in second with those 3 ranking points for that win.
Another super close match, another match where we had to throw out our drafts on the way in. Lots of heavy, heavy defense from those red teams against the blue on that side. Didn't quite get them to win, but held them within, what was that, 20 or 30 something points?
Something like that, yeah.
Pretty close stuff. And just a quick, leaderboard update as we start winding down. That is round 9 for most of our teams now starting to wrap up. 3 more to play after that. In that match, we had the teams tied for second place going into that match. We now break the tie. Doesn't actually change the leaderboard order. They were already sorted this way based on tiebreakers. Jack and the Bot moving up into properly number 2 by themselves. Control C dropping down to third, breaking the tie. But still, those 2 teams comfortably ahead of the rest of the pack. Still going to be really exciting to see as we, I think, actually did just finish round 9. The mass of teams from 5th to, when do we finally get out of the 3s? 14th. And that's just 1 win worth of RP on average.
All these matches are just so close at this point. At the top of the field, there's that little gap at the top of the field. Everything else, there's a lot to fight for, especially for those Alliance captain positions.
Yeah, top 8, for those of you not familiar with our process, ranked teams after qualifications around lunchtime tomorrow will be invited to be our initial Alliance captains. And then, because it's Pacific Northwest District champs and it's just a meme at this point, chaos ensues and everything is unpredictable from that point onwards. But that's the part you can predict. We can also predict that we'll be back at the field in just a few moments for match number 73. Sure, why not?
We're on match 76, Josh. Match 76. So close. But we are going to go ahead and welcome our Red Alliance to the field, starting with team 4450.
That's the Olympia Robotics Federation.
Again, qualification match 76. We are joined by team 1778.
From Alec Terrace, Chill Out.
And we are joined by team 9430.
From Salem, Oregon, C-Tech Robotics.
On the blue side of the field, please welcome team 2374.
They're from Portland, Oregon, Jesuit Robotics.
Their partners, team 2046.
From Maple Valley, Washington, Bare Metal.
And rounding out the blue side, it's 1595.
They're from Spokane, that's the Dragons.
Drivers behind the line, we're getting started in 3, 2, 1, go!
Qualification match 76. Bare Metal gets stuck on the Blue Alliance bump as they try to make their way out to the central zone. They're assisted by their alliance partner 1595. The Dragons scoring from within blue territory. They race out to the neutral zone. They join 2 Red Alliance robots, C-Tech and Chill Out, both scoring into the Red Alliance hub. With those 2 robots scoring, they are ahead by roughly double the points, so that means that the Blue Alliance will be the first on shift in just a couple seconds. They do race to try to catch up with that lead, though, and they'll have 25 more seconds to score in their hub. Chill Out attempting to pass fuel to the Red Alliance, to my eye, a little bit too close to the rear wall, but most of that fuel manages to stay within the bounds of the field. Now, on this occasion, a couple more hitting our referee. Could be a hit in the back there. That's all right. 4 seconds left on this Blue Alliance shift. 1 more cascade of fuel from Bare Metal before we hop on over to Red Alliance for control. Chill Out trying to squeeze in behind Olympia Robotics Federation. Olympia Robotics Federation getting pushed by 2374. That is Jesuit Robotics out of Portland. And that pushing in defense results in a stream of fuel exiting the field along the rear wall. Our field crew working to get that out of there. Bare Metal giving a little boost to their Alliance party of Dragons as they all exit out of Red Alliance territory, making their way towards the blue side for their next shift on the job. 1:12 left to go in the match, and the score is tied on the live screen. And oh, it happened. A bit of fuel hits the funny button, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
For those of you unfamiliar with the so-called funny button Austin just mentioned, this fuel, this is actually one of the questions that came in from the forum earlier, so this is a great opportunity to talk about this. Hey, Jake, Catch, how heavy is that?
About a pound. It's pretty dense. I've been hit in the face by one of these. To the student who hit me in the face, you know who you are.
Wait. All right, that wasn't in the script either. But this, what happened over there was one of these pieces of fuel landed on the E-stop button. We have an emergency stop button over on the score table, just in case something goes awry. We've had to hit it a few times for field walls coming off or hub walls coming off, or, well, we talked about zip tie failures for a long while yesterday. Boop, and there goes the match. And that's where we are.
Yeah, and this is a good, I guess, we can segue this. This is like totally off the wall here because we weren't expecting the match to be accidentally ended there.
Well, we're infinitely recharging it.
We are infinitely recharging. Oh, the kids don't know what infinite recharge is these days. Oh, okay. So basically, your robot, you have a power switch on your robot. Just like the field also has a big red button, right? And a lot of you have been designing little things to go and cover that button so that way other robots and fuel can't go and hit that button. Why haven't we done that?
Emergency stop?
Yeah, but we could still, we could make it so that your hand could go through, but not a fuel, right? Like a little shield wall or something.
This is a little bit of a throwback, right, on field design. I remember 2013, we had nets around the field. Well, sorry, that was a week 2 edition. Week 2, we learned to put nets around the field for Frisbee year. No such luck this year.
Yeah, I wasn't around in 2013 in FRC. I was around, just not in FRC. But I assume that it would have been really painful to get hit in the face by one of those Frisbees. And I assume...
I cannot... I did not...
Yeah, I assume based on the fact that they went up week 2, that was a lesson that they learned the hard way.
There's a saying, right? Every sign has a story behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like all the shops and whatnot with all the safety signs. And you see that fence with the, hey, don't cross this fence.
Right.
Yeah, you'd think we'd learn that with the E-stop button. But guess not. Anyways,
you know what, Jake? I'm going to E-stop your soliloquy.
All right, fair enough.
And we'll be right back with this qualification match, take 2, in just a moment.
All right, before we replay match 76 again, we want to show off the lovely piece of fuel that hit the e-stop button for our third foghorn of the event. Thank you, 1778 Chill Out. They get to keep this lovely prize, and we're gonna toss it to them. Nice job. Before we get things going, all right, drivers, make sure you are behind the lines. I got a thumbs up, so we are getting started in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, let's try that one again. Match 76 is actually a fairly close one. Right before that e-stop button was hit, the scores were just about tied. So let's see what happens on this occasion. Bare Metal not caught on the bump on this occasion. They make their way up on over a hopper load of fuel, quickly scoring in that Blue Alliance hub. They do surge into the lead, but fairly close as Autonomous comes to an end. 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock, and this time it's the Red Alliance that's going to have the first Alliance-specific shift after the Blue Alliance quickly scores another volley of fuel from Bare Metal 2046. They make their way out to the neutral zone to collect some more fuel as the Red Alliance works away on some fuel. They've got a little bit of input there from the action that was in the previous match 76.1. So let's see how that influences their decisions here on the field as 9430 C-Tech and 1778 Chill Out make their way around the field. Chill Out throws a piece of fuel now at the casters over at the color station. Fortunately, no fun buttons to hit over there, at least not I'm aware of. Now another piece of fuel flies all the way across the field again from Chill Out, all the way up to the other side of the field, outside the field perimeter. That's quickly returned back to our field by the field crew. Truly an occupational hazard here, this fuel flying around everywhere. 1778 Chill Out and 4450 Olympia Robotics Federation, they make their way back in the Red Alliance territory just as the shift begins. They are back on the clock. They've punched in their punch card, and they're on the clock working here at their job of storing fuel in the hub as Bare Metal tries to sweep up additional hopper loads of fuel and stockpile them just along their Blue Alliance wall at the far end. 4450 Olympia Robotics Federation navigating around. 2374 playing defense. That's Jesuit Robotics pushing back and forth. ORF makes their way out of the Red Alliance zone. Jesuit Robotics sweeps some fuel. Just a couple of pieces of fuel there making their way underneath both the red and blue trenches. 9430, they launch some fuel up across the field at C-Tech Robotics. Some of that fuel bounces off the backside of the net and back into neutral territory, but some of that fuel does make it back. 4450 as well, back from the supermarket with a load of fuel as we hit endgame. 30 seconds left in the match. 338 to 318. The Blue Alliance is behind at this moment by roughly 20 points. And as I say that, of course, they surge ahead and add more fuel to their collection. 1595, the Dragons is currently emergency stopped. They will be paused for the remainder of the match. 10 seconds left now on the clock, and however much of that match is remaining. Bare Metal scores another volley of fuel in the hopper. They hit 400 and some amount of fuel. A flag waves at the top right corner of the field. Red Alliance, some final pieces of fuel, but I saw a lot of blue fuel surging through that hub. We'll see what the referees have to say about that one as the lead flips back and forth. Some excellent work from both alliances there in the end, but we do have our final confirmed scores. The Blue Alliance ultimately the victor in that match. Qualification match 76, redo. 452 to 394, the final score. 5 ranking points to your Blue Alliance. Rare Metal remains in first, 2 ranking points for your Red Alliance. That's not enough for Chill Out to remain where they were. They dropped to 5th.
Well, a match so interesting we had to play it twice. You know, that's my favorite word of the day. This is not the autographed fuel, and this is also not the fuel that came and said hi to us either.
Yes, well, our little dumpster fire is, I don't know where it went.
Well, the fire, okay.
We're on fire now. Okay. I understand. Well, we do have a highlight, actually. Sorry about, I know that we just played a real match and all, but like, we want to go back to the previous match. So if we could get the highlight.
Take one.
Up, yeah, the take one here. If we add a little zoom, oh, I added the wrong spot. Here we go. All right, let's take a look. Oh, man. Let's try this again. Let's let a little zoom right here. If we roll this clip, we can take a look at 1778 Chill Out. And their turret spins really quickly, and a piece of fuel goes way up in the air, and you can see hits that E-stop right there. And also to note, if we look right here, our wonderful FTA...
They kind of just, they're done with the day at that point.
Unhappy about that one. I don't even know what to add to that.
That's all we have
just
to
crazy.
say. Great job, Chill Out. You broke the FTAs. All right, that's it for us up at the desk. Go reset the field, y'all.
Oh, I have.
We are going to welcome our teams to the field on the red side. Give it up for Team 25-22.
From Buffalo, Washington, Royal Robotics.
Their partners, Team 360.
They're from Tacoma, Washington, the Revolution.
And we have Team 753.
From Bend, Oregon, the High Desert Droids.
On the Blue Alliance, let's welcome to the field Team 3674.
From Battleground, Washington, that is the Cloverbots.
Let's meet Team 4125.
Out of Umatilla, Oregon, they're Confidential.
And give it up for Team 8248.
They hail from Seattle, that is the Chain Links.
Drivers behind the lines, we are getting started in 3, 2, 1, go!
Here we go again. Hopefully no fun buttons or commentators or anything are hit on this occasion. Match number 77 underway. 753 of the Red Alliance, that's the High Desert Droids, ends up beached in the neutral zone on top of some fuel. Actually, 25-22. They were auto-hung, but then they got stuck on... There was some fuel where they were hanging, and then when they dropped down, they got briefly stuck on some of that fuel, but they quickly recover, and now all 3 red robots are operational out here in the neutral zone. They are currently off the clock, however, as the Blue Alliance will work to score. With the first Alliance-specific shift, that means they are slightly behind 123 to 105, your live score, but not an insurmountable gap by any means. 41-25, Confidential on the offensive on this occasion, scoring some fuel just in front of the blue hub as time expires. Now all 3 Red Alliance robots quickly scoring here in the red zone. 82-48 working their best defense here, trying to restrict the number of robots that are able to score on this shift. They've got their eyes set on 360. The Revolution with a full hopper load of fuel, they do manage to slip past just on the edge of that auto line, or on top of that starting line. just in valid scoring position, they get that fuel into the hopper or into the hub. 70 seconds left on the clock now as fuel flies all across the field, especially in the blue hub. 4125 Confidential underneath the blue tower. Now Chain Links, that was just in front of them. They score a few pieces of fuel into the Blue Alliance hub. Blue Alliance behind by just about 60 points. The Red Alliance will add to that margin as all three Red Alliance robots in that red zone trying to score. A248 doing the best defense they can. The referees watching closely as they potentially start to call some pins, but I believe those are all waved off. And again, I'll leave those calls to the referees. That is, in fact, their job. Free 60 to Revolution. They hop on some fuel over across the red bump just as we enter endgame. They begin to score some high arcs of fuel from, I believe, the Chain Links there in the top right corner of the field. 1, 2, 3, several pieces of fuel making their way from Chain Links in the Blue Alliance hub, but the Red Alliance ahead by roughly double. They continue to add to their Italian 7-5 free to hide their droids. By my eye, their bumper appears to be above that second rung. Royal Robotics, they were briefly up in the air. They're briefly up again. Will they maintain their position? These climbs are scored 3 seconds after the buzzer. 7-5 free, to my eye, seems to be up in the air. But are they level 2 or are they level 3? We'll have to wait for our referees to confirm. Remember that these climbs are defined as level 1 if your robot is just off the carpet, level 2 if your bumpers are fully above that lower rung, and level 3 if you are all the way up above that middle rung with your bumpers. You're good? Scores confirmed from that last match. It is a Red Alliance victory. Final score 526 to 301, and all 6 ranking points to your Red Alliance. 3 for the win, 1 for the energized, 1 for supercharging, and 1 for that climb ranking point. They did it. They traversaled. Excellent work to both alliances there. It is some awesome work there, especially that Red Alliance. They did it with that 6th ranking point.
So, Jake, you've got
Josh.
the big number board in front of you there that I can see.
I do, yes.
You can make jokes about me being old all you want. I'm not that old. I can see it. And before this match, 20 traversal RPs in the world this season, total.
Not a lot.
20 is, in fact, a small number. And this one you might have to fact check me on, but to my knowledge, one other 6 RP match in the world until now.
Yeah, you said there's somewhere in Texas. PNW, hello. That was awesome.
So Jake, break
753.
down for me, though. Like, what does it take? We talk about a 6 RP match. We talk about the traversal thing. 50 climb points to get the traversal. Brett and I talked about that earlier, but what does that mean in practical terms?
In practical terms, what that means is that unless all of your robots are climbing high in the end game, you need to do some work in the autonomous. And I believe we did have a climb in our autonomous, and you'll have to correct me on which team this was. 25-22 Royal? Yeah,
there we are. We
there
can
we
see
go.
it on the match highlight right there as Royal climbs up right here, gets that low 10-point climb in the autonomous period. And then I think our video team is going to fast forward a ways so we don't have to watch the whole 2-something minutes. But then in the end game, we get the level 1, and I believe that was level 3 there.
That did look like a level 3, and we've been seeing 753 flip climb this whole event. And it is one of like the coolest things that I've ever seen.
This is the coolest way to have a heart attack ever as you're
Right?
watching it going like, so okay, for those of us who've been doing this for like way too long, in 2013 you had to like climb up the side of the pyramid thing, and anybody going for level 3, it's like, this is exactly that same reaction. You're like, okay, and then it works every time because they have that locked in.
Yeah, and it looks like our replay team has our highlight pulled up in the end game. So let's go ahead and put that up on the big screen. And we can see over here on the red side of the field. Yeah, we can see at 753, High Desert Droids up in the air, Royal Robotics joining them on that level 1. And that gave us, of course, after having reached the supercharged RP, that means that they walked away from that match with one of very, very few 6 ranking point matches.
In the world all season. I think that's worth taking just an extra second to talk about. But now, Natalie, I'm afraid you're going to have to go do some work and introduce our next teams.
Thank you, Josh and Jake. It is quite exciting to see that 6 ranking point match. But now let's meet our next group of teams on the field. We've got our Red Alliance. We've got Team 2811.
From Vancouver, Washington, that is the Stormbots.
They are joined by 4131.
From Liberty High School, the Iron Patriots.
And we've got Team 1425.
Wilsonville High School's Error Code 0.
On the blue half of the field, give it up for Team 10416.
Spokane Valley's Radical Raccoons.
In the middle spot, we've got 957.
Albany, Oregon Swarm.
And last, we've got Team 9023.
From Sammamish, Washington, the Future Martians.
Drivers behind the lines in 3, 2, 1, go.
Kicking off qualification match number 78. Free Blue Alliance robots swipe fuel from the neutral zone. 1425 Error Code 0. They score some as well. 4131 the Iron Patriots. They decide to pause their autonomous underneath the rear red trench. That's where they'll be for the remainder of the autonomous. Ends now. Off we go here in Teleop with a Blue Alliance lead. So Red Alliance will have the first shift. And that shift begins now. Blue Alliance roughly double the score at the moment, 120 to 77, but still plenty of time for either alliance to add to their tally. Error Code 0 doing just that. They score some fuel in the Red Alliance hub. Now they quickly are joined by their other alliance partner, the Stormbots. Their first alliance partner, the Iron Patriots, out at center field, trying to stop the Blue Alliance, who's trying to clear up the rest of the fuel here in the neutral zone. Now 3 streams of fuel all making their way towards the blue hub. That's going to add a lot of points to their tally. They're already at 202 as they work their way towards that energized ranking point bonus. 4131 the Iron Patriots and 1425 Error Code 0 navigate around the neutral zone. Now they're on the hunt for the Red Alliance. They navigate around a piece of what appears to be robot debris out at center field, and the Raccoons just run right over it. Either way, we're on a Red Alliance shift now, and it's actually 2 Blue Alliance robots briefly in Red Alliance territory. I watch as a piece of, or an arc of fuel makes its way to the Red Alliance zone, and a piece of zip tie or some other detritus lands just next to that stream of fuel, launched from presumably someone's launcher. Either way, Error Code 0 launching fuel now into the Red Alliance hub. They earn themselves additional points as they try to narrow this score margin. 299, now 300 to 162 in favor of Blue. 44 seconds left to play. We're on our final Alliance-specific shift before we make our way to endgame. And a collision results in some fuel spilling outside of the field. The color outside the lines there, as it appears to be the Stormbots pushing against the Future Martians. Now the Martians on an expedition to the Red Alliance zone. They're going to pass some fuel all the way out to the Blue Alliance side of the field and maybe outside the field as well. Trying to get their alliance partners to score that into the blue hub. No such alliance partners exist. However, we'll actually check that bottom right corner of the field. I believe that is the Raccoons 10416 out of Spokane Valley. 7 or so seconds left on the board here. Error Code 0, some final shots. 4131 sweeping some fuel in their general direction. The match comes to a close. Scorers thumbs up by our head referee, so up on the board they go. Blue Alliance victory in qualification match number 78. 461 to 219, the final tally. Your Red Alliance teams unfortunately do move down in the rankings, and your Blue Alliance moves up courtesy of 5 ranking points.
Well, Josh, as we come to the end of that match, which was quite exciting, by the way, we're actually going to weirdly look ahead to our next match and talk about one of the teams who's going to be playing in that next match. Team 2412, the Robototes. We have a Kevin in the Pits for you. Let's take a look.
I'm here with Ziad from 2412 Robototes. Ziad has been helping to develop this, which is a climber. Tell me about the climber. How does it operate?
So it's a magnetic climb so it has a magnet, 4 neodymium magnets on the bottom, and it has a steel bar behind it that's cut using a Tormac to make sure we can redirect the magnetic field so we can make them stronger without using as many magnets. We also have two wheels on the bottom, driven by a Kraken X60 and a gearbox. And it has also it has chains to make sure to for the wheels. Yeah, that's pretty much our climb, and it attaches to the tall end of the climb bar, so we can just attach and just roll up.
Outstanding. And so tell me about the work that you did with the magnetic fields.
Yeah, so we ran multiple different simulations of how to orient the steel bar with the magnets to have the safest and strongest magnets that we can have to be able to hold up our whole entire bar.
That is amazing. It is interesting science. It is a unique thing I haven't seen anybody else try.
Yeah.
Let's turn it just a little bit so that they can see that it's really well manufactured and engineered.
Yeah.
You should be especially proud of this.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right.
We are playing through qualification match number 87 tonight, so we are going to keep pushing, keep getting through, and keep meeting these teams. On the red side of the field, make some noise for Team 44.
They're from Hillsboro, Oregon, Shockwave.
They are joined by Team 4061.
From Due East, Pullman, Washington, Cyborg.
And we've got Team 2412.
Host of the Sammamish District event, that's the Robototes.
Starting us off on the blue side of the field, please welcome Team 2471.
From Camas, Washington, Team Mean Machine.
They are joined by Team 10,079.
From Buffalo, Washington, Aerodynamics.
And give it up for Team 8896.
From Puyallup, Washington, that is Wolf Tech Robotics.
Drivers behind the lines in 3, 2, 1, go.
Qualification match number 79. We're 79% of the way there, and we're near the end of our broadcast day. Before that, 3 Red Alliance robots score in the Red Alliance hub. Mean Machine swerving around the Blue Alliance, or rather the central zone, and down over to the Blue Alliance side, and they make their way back out to the neutral zone and join the Robototes. Robototes going a little Baja crazy. They're on some fuel. They get off that fuel and make their way up over to Blue Alliance. Well, they do a little excursion, a little journey over to Blue Alliance, but then back underneath the Blue Alliance trench. I think they sweep up a little bit of fuel there, but they are now on the clock as well as the rest of the Red Alliance. Robototes navigating around. They bump into their own alliance partner, 4061, on their way back towards the Blue Alliance side. The Cyborgs now working to play some defense, stopping the Blue Alliance or possibly getting more fuel. There are 2 alliance partners, Shockwave and Robototes, working on scoring in that Red Alliance hub in the final few seconds of that Alliance-Pacific shift. We now make our way back to the Blue Alliance side of the field. Referee's keeping a close, watchful eye on the interactions there in that zone as Aerodynamics looks to score some additional fuel in the Blue Alliance hub. Some shots contributed by their human players as well over the Blue Alliance zone. Up in the top right corner is the outpost where robots can possibly send fuel to their human players, and those human players can physically throw them into the hub. Red Alliance now working away here in the left side of your screens or fields. 4488 Shockwave, they head on over the Red Alliance bump as 8896. Wolf Tech Robotics plays some defense trying to slow them down. Now Wolf Tech up on the Red Alliance bump. They return back to dislodge Shockwave from their position in front of the Red Alliance hub. Robototes collecting some final pieces of fuel. They send an arc vaguely in the direction of the Red Alliance hub. That one just bounces just over. 2471, Mean Machine back at it again. They're joined by Aerodynamics, 10007, 10079, 10K79. However you like to pronounce their 5-digit name or number. We watch as they score fuel in that Blue Alliance hub, or maybe just over. Either way, they're joined now by their alliance partner. I believe that is going to be 2471 Mean Machine at the bottom right corner who just enter endgame. Right as that buzzer sound, Wolf Tech backs quickly away from Shockwave. They were vaguely to the red tower and now make their way back towards Blue Alliance territory where they're a little bit safer. Robototes, they're lining up with some additional fuel in towards the red hubs. Blue Alliance working as well. 1000 or 10079, they take up position near the tower to score some additional fuel into the Blue Alliance hub. Both Alliance hubs still active for the remaining 5 seconds of this match. 3, 2, and 1 as some buzzer beater shots make their way from the human players into the Red Alliance hub. Referee confirms that the scores are good from this match, so up on the big screen. Red Alliance relaxing at the beach because they've earned themselves free ranking points for the win in addition to any bonuses. 362 to 264, your final tally. Both alliances earned the energized bonus, and that moves these various Red Alliance teams upwards in the standings.
Jake, lots of interesting hardware designs throughout this competition, including, things that can hit E-stops, but not in this match. And in yesterday, Evan and I talked a little bit about the types of intakes that existed, but I think you wanted to talk a little bit about the types of launching mechanisms that exist on these robots and the type of sorting mechanisms that exist on these robots. I think you are another of our mechanical-minded crew. Take it away. Yeah, let's talk specifically about indexers, and specifically we're going to focus in on spindexers, which have kind of been the meta this year. We've seen a lot of spindexers, and I think a lot of that came down to an RI3D team made a spindexer and posted it online, and everyone was like, that looks really good. It's on the internet, it has to be true. Yeah, exactly. So let's take a look at 2 different ways that teams here on the field have solved this problem. And if we pull up our highlight here, we'll be able to see one of our 2 teams. There we go. So we're looking at Team 2412, the Robototes. Now they have a shooter that is mounted on the corner of their robot, and they have a spindexer mounted in the center of their robot that then feeds into that shooter. The other way of doing it is, I guess if you mount the shooter in the center, and we're going to look at Mean Machine over here, Team 2471, in which they have that shooter mounted in the center and then a piece that goes all the way around that
shooter. This is kind of based on Team 971 from 2017, and it's a quite effective, I guess, way of doing this. And so you see a lot of these teams come up with different ways of solving the same problem. So even within having a Spindexer.
So tell me though, like, what's the trade-off there, right? So I don't build robots. I coded some robots back in the day, but really I was the scouting guy, right? So why would I want one of these over the other mechanically?
Well, the center-mounted Spindexer, which I believe Mean Machine calls it a die rotor, is it's more mechanically complex because you have that turret mounted on top, right? And then you have the Spindexer mounted right below it. So you have to figure out some way of controlling that turret while there's a piece that's mounted on the same rotational axis that also rotates but differently. But in theory, you save some space by doing that, having the shooter in the side, in the corner of the robot, like Robototes has. It's a little bit less space efficient, but seems to be a little bit easier to pull off.
So min-maxing the size of the robot, back in my day, it was all about Swiss cheesing the weight away, but now we're optimizing for millimeters of space. We're going to actually make some space for Natalie down on the field for qualification match number 80.
And with that, let's go ahead and meet our team, starting with 6696.
Corbett, Oregon, Cardinal Dynamics.
They are joined by 3663.
From Bothell, Washington, CPR, Cedar Park Robotics.
And we have Team 4915.
They sailed over from Bainbridge Island. That is Spartronics.
Over on the blue side of the field, please make some noise for Team 5468.
Flying in from Bend, Oregon is Chaos Fury.
In the middle spot, we've got 997.
And from Corvallis, Oregon, Spartan Robotics.
And rounding out the blue side, give it up for 948.
From Bellevue, Washington, and RG, the Newport Robotics Group.
Drivers, check those toes. We've got a thumbs up behind the lines in 3, 2, 1, go.
Match 80, we are approaching the end of our day and potentially even the end of our qualification matches in general. But first, we got robots launching fuel quickly in the Blue Alliance hub. Chaos Fury races back to the neutral zone. They're joined by NRG, both some pretty high fuel scorers. Racing back to the Blue Alliance zone now, final seconds of Autonomous. 114 fuel counted by that Blue Alliance hub and Autonomous. That does mean that control transfers over to the Red Alliance for this first initial Alliance-specific shift. There it is, begins now. 25 seconds on the clock as 997. Spartan Robotics, they attempt to play some defense out here in the neutral zone. 6696 Cardinal Dynamics. They've got a hopper load of fuel. Looks like their turret is locked onto their own drivers. They're launching fuel at themselves via a wall. And now at themselves in general, over the wall at their drivers. That's a choice. They now instead go to free their alliance partner, 4915 Spartronics, that was briefly beached on some fuel out in the neutral zone. They make their way off and into the Blue Alliance side of the field. Spartronics has their eyes set on some of these Blue Alliance robots. They briefly play some defense there to now return back to vaguely the neutral zone as fuel flies towards the Red Alliance zone. They prepare for their next Red Alliance shift. There is that shift now. Spartan Robotics 997. They collide against a Red Alliance robot. Referees had their eyes on that one. Now 2 Red Alliance robots, actually all 3 now active in the Red Alliance zone. 6696 Cardinal Dynamics. They're joining CPR 3663 in the rear of the field, scoring fuel in the direction of that Red Alliance hub as NRG, they bump into their own Blue Alliance hub at center field. They make their way towards the Blue Alliance zone, looking to score their hopper load of fuel now just as they go on shift. 948 getting pushed against by 6696. Cardinal Dynamics now on defense, trying to limit the number of fuel scored by this Blue Alliance, that they are currently in the lead by roughly double the points. 373 to 112, your current unofficial score. I see a roller of some variety on the field by the red tower. Hope it doesn't impact the ability of our robots too extremely as we enter the last 30 or actually 20 seconds of the match. 948 NRG. They race along the rear of the field. Over to Blue Bumps they go for a hopper load of fuel, and they deliver that into their blue hub. For 660 free CPR, they're lined up in front of the Red Alliance hub. 6696 as well. Cardinal Dynamics, they've got a handful of fuel stocked in their hopper, and they're lining up. And all but one remains in their machine, actually just in front of their Oculus Quest headset. Scores confirmed by our head referee and our crew of referees, so up on the board we go. And the Blue Alliance is ultimately the victor in that qualification match. Score 532 to 239 points. 5 ranking points for that victory moves 948 up to 7th captain position, and the Chaos Fury team moves up to 4th.
With the conclusion of that match, we see some rankings starting to not only slide around, but also solidify. Chaos Theory now ranked number 4 up in the picking positions, and someone who was in the picking positions, Spartronics, no longer in the picking positions, but still in contention. Josh, you've done some math here on what the possibilities for the remainder of this event are.
Yeah, well, don't give me the credit, right? Don't listen to me on math. Listen to the computer on math. We'll get a general quick leaderboard update. Going into this one, we had a multi-way. We got a series of ties there between 6th, 8th, and 10th. It was like 2, 2, 2, 2. Things really stabilizing coming out of that match, considering that we had the teams that were in 4th and 6th going in, now all over the place coming out. Looking at this quick math, it looks like 2046 bare metal. From my calculations, it looks like they cannot slide below first. They seem to be clinched in the number 1 spot. Still 6 or 7, looks like six teams.
Don't even.
That was not intentional. I'm trying to read, man. 6 teams in contention for 2nd. Another 4 teams in contention for 3rd. This keeps going right down to 12th. The top 8, those coveted spots, right? There's a tie actually at the 8th position there between 360 and 2522. And it actually comes down to, what is this one? I don't actually have the tiebreakers handy, but it's very exciting to watch. But we just saw, what was that, a swing of 6 positions?
Yeah.
Was it 5? I don't remember.
I don't know, I can't math.
Spartronics.
You're the math guy, clearly.
Shift. Well, yeah, okay. Still lots of volatility, right? Even if number 1 is locked in, and number 2 there, Jack in the Bot, is, I'm not going to say safe, but looking reasonably comfortable. Still tons of volatility just below them.
Absolutely, and we've got just a couple more matches left to play today, a couple of matches tomorrow where those rankings can still slide around, but really we're starting to see some of those teams starting to lock in those positions and start to make those strategy decisions that are going to start affecting the Alliance selection. And I think it's time to head over to the field, and we'll be back with our team introductions in just a moment.
Moving right along, we are going to introduce our Red Alliance robots, starting with Team 1540.
From Portland, Oregon, that is the Flaming Chickens.
We are also welcoming Team 49. We're starting that all over. We are also welcoming Team 492.
They are the Titan Robotics Club from Bellevue.
And make it loud on the red side, 44469.
From Federal Way, Washington, that's RAID, or the Raider Artificial Intelligence Division.
On the blue half of the carpet, make some noise for Team 2521.
From Eugene, Oregon, they are CERT.
In that middle spot, it's 2926.
From Wapata, Washington, the Robo Sparks.
And make it loud and proud for 4512.
They're from Everett, Washington, Otter Chaos.
We have a green light on the field, waiting for a thumbs up. Drivers behind the lines in 3, 2, 1, go.
Match 81 underway for our robots generally in the city of that neutral zone. I do see a flag wave from our head referee there, so we'll see what happened at the end of the match. 44-69 RAID enter autonomous. Just roughly in front of the red trench. 25-21, a little bit of a shimmy there at the center line for the Blue Alliance. I feel like they're a little bit higher than normal. We'll see what happens. A tied live score exiting autonomous 71-71. I believe that is courtesy some fouls, though. The autonomous shift, or the first Alliance-specific shift, is determined based on the amount of fuel scored in the hubs. That does mean we hop on over to the Blue Alliance side for that first Alliance-specific shift. But the Red Alliance working on scoring some fuel, stockpiling it in the general direction of the Red Alliance. Some of it ends up just outside, but that's all right. Our field crew quick to work on it and get it back inbounds. Blue Alliance quickly scoring some fuel in the blue hub, but that is 45-12. Otter Chaos cleaning up at the back of the field. And where did that come from? A piece of fuel flies up in the air over the fun emergency stop button, thankfully. Just bounces off our very expensive LED screen. No big deal. Either way, Red Alliance now on the clock here for 10 seconds remaining in the shift. 1540 Flaming Chickens, they're scoring some fuel. They navigate underneath their red tower just as the lights begin to flash, and they make their way back over to the next Alliance-specific shift over on the blue side of the field. 1540 back at it again. Flaming Chickens launching fuel vaguely in the direction of the top right corner. They run over yet another robot piece. Looks like some sort of kicker bar. Perhaps it's kicking up off the carpet. Watch to see if any robots are impacted by the loss of that part as the final seconds of the blue shift tick away. Our now final Alliance-specific shift is the Red Alliance's turn. 5 out of 6 here in our match, and it's going to be the Red Alliance working crazily, scoring fuel into that Red Alliance hub. Referees keeping a watchful eye on 2926, the RoboSparks, as they attempt to place some defense here in Red Alliance territory. 492 lined up in front of the Red Alliance hub with a hopper load of fuel. Fuel just flying everywhere, all over up in this edge of the world. 30 seconds left now. We approach endgame. 44-69 RAID. They make their way underneath the red tower on the hunt for more fuel. Blue Alliance, they're working to score some fuel as well. Human players launching fuel in the direction of the blue hub. 2926, the RoboSparks, they navigate. They've got a fuel in their grasp. They launch it in the direction of the blue hub. 45-12 Otter Chaos, they're actually at neutral territory, sending fuel underneath the blue trench in the direction of their human players. 29-26, RoboSparks, they send it towards their humans just as the buzzer expires. They're hoping for some buzzer beaters. We'll watch as the hubs do their final calculations. At the end of the match, we've got our various endgame tasks to calculate from our referees, other things to confirm. We'll wait for our scores. And the wait is over with confirmation from our head referee. Our scores are now finalized up on the big screen. The Red Alliance wins match number 81. Final score 654 to 350. Both alliances are, in fact, energized, earning 1 ranking point, but the Red Alliance walks away with 5 in total. Flaming Chickens up to the 8th seat at our alliance selection ceremony, 4469 up to 5th.
Jake, what a match, and a really close match actually for quite a long while there. It wasn't until the very end we see just the sudden lurch of score from, so when we have this paused right here, 269 to 204 with about a minute and a half left to play. Mick, let's just go ahead and full send this tape and we'll let it roll for quite a while here. I want to watch the distribution of fuel right now, pretty evenly balanced. Like, Jake, I don't see any particular hoarding of fuel. We have leftover robot parts, but that's beside the point. But watch the Red Alliance's evolution here. I think you called it out, right? This robot, full-ish. This robot, full-ish. We'll get the Flaming Chickens in here in a minute. Jake, what does it take to really lock in? If you're mentoring a drive team or if you're building a robot for, like, you've got a pivotal swing to pull off to keep this match out of tie territory. Like, what's going through your head there? And what do you build your robot to do, if anything special? Or are you just playing the game? Is this just like you showed up to work, you did your job, and like, yeah, it's my job?
I think a lot of it, Josh, is you need to be thinking, minutes ahead. You need to be thinking way into the future, especially with this game where you have these shifts that are built into the game. And what these drivers on the Red Alliance are doing they're gathering all that fuel that's coming out of the Blue Alliance hub, and it's going into that neutral zone while the Blue Alliance is shooting. They've decided they don't want to go play defense on the Blue Alliance. They want to prepare themselves as well as they can for those final 30 seconds. So they go and they clear out that neutral zone. They store it all on the red side of the field, and then when it comes time, they go and they dump everything in the robot. They dump everything on their field.
And we see that shift rate. We talked about 260-something points, and then all the way up into the stratosphere, the mid-600s. Excellent match. We'll get another excellent one ready in a moment.
Let's go ahead and welcome our Red Alliance, starting with Team 955.
That is Control C.
They are joined by 5937.
MI Robotics.
And make some noise for Team 2910.
Jack in the Box.
On the blue side of the field, we are welcoming Team 4089.
Delph Robotics.
In the middle, we've got 488.
That is Team Xbot.
And joining them, give it up for Team 10991.
The Pyobites.
Oh, we've got a green light. We're checking the gates, making sure the field is safe. Drivers, check your toes. We're getting started in 3, 2, 1, go!
Qualification match 82 underway. 4 robots racing in the neutral zone. 488 Team X-Bot, the last robot remaining there. They gather some of the last remnants of fuel as Jack in the Bot sends a shockwave of fuel into that Red Alliance hub. 955 Control C, they follow up as well with a second round of fuel. As MI Robotics has a little bit of a sort of shift with their hopper there. They've run out of fuel in their machine. 488 Team X-Bot, they end up in the neutral zone. They're quickly joined by their alliance partner 4089, that's Stealth Robotics, as well as 10991, our rookie team Pyobytes. They hop on over to the neutral zone as they go on shift. Live score in favor of the Red Alliance at this point in time, 189 to 26. The Red Alliance working on clearing some of the fuel out of the neutral zone towards their Red Alliance zone on the left side of the field. They're preparing for their next shift in just about 10 seconds from now. X-Bot and Stealth Robotics working together. They're trying to clear fuel on the front of the field, but they are the 2 robots in the Blue Alliance zone working to clear out fuel in the final seconds of that Blue Alliance shift. Now it's the Red Alliance's turn to play. Jack in the Bot and 955 Control C working to score some fuel in that Red Alliance hub, but all 3 Blue Alliance robots vaguely in that territory. 489 Stealth Robotics, as I say that, make their way not very cleanly underneath the red trench. They make it underneath, but they do sort of bump and jostle a little bit. It's on a hinge. X-Bot 488, they make their way all the way along the front of the field, sweeping a little bit of fuel into the Blue Alliance zone. They are now on shift with 23 seconds left in their shift, to be precise. Team X-Bot, they're along the Blue Alliance tower in the center as MI Robotics 6937, they bump into the front wall and kick a couple of fuel over towards the Red Alliance side. 4089 Stealth Robotics, they make their way back over to Blue Alliance bump as Pyobytes makes it the other way on the rear bump. They cross into the neutral zone, looking for the final scraps of fuel as we go to our last Red Alliance shift. Jack in the Bot and Control C sweeping some fuel in. Now MI Robotics as well from that bottom left corner by the Blue Human players and their outpost. Human players contributing as well. They launch some fuel in the direction of that hub. And on final spray from 2910, Jack in the Bot but 4089 Stealth Robotics attempts to steal a hopper load of fuel as they make their way back home to launch it into the hub. Under 30 seconds to play now. We are in endgame as either alliance is looking for that fuel that they'll add to their hub. 615 to 156, your current live score. So we'll see what happens. There's plenty of things to add to the tally after the end of the match. Red Alliance continuing to score some fuel. Blue Alliance doing the best they can. Stealth Robotics capturing some fuel. Jack in the Bot, a full load goes over to Red Alliance bump, and they quickly launch it in the direction of the Red Alliance hub. 5 seconds left on the clock. 720, 730, 740, 753 is where the match stops. We'll see what our final scores look like when they are confirmed by our referees. With a thumbs up from our head referee, our scores are finalized. The Red Alliance wins qualification match number 82. A tally of 768 to 234. Jack in the Bot remains in second. Control C remains in third. MI Robotics moves up courtesy of 5 ranking points.
So, we're gonna talk about that one?
I think we got to talk about that one.
That's a lot of points, right?
That was a lot of points. Not the PNW record.
Barely not.
Barely not.
Wait.
We're still waiting on final scores, of course. So I guess it could be the PNW record. Are we waiting on final scores?
They posted.
No, they posted. Okay, cool. We have a screen back here that has like a match like score, so I had to ask. Yeah, rank 2, rank 3, Control C, and Jack in the Bot. I said those in the wrong order. Powerhouses. And of course, I want to talk about the sleeper, MI Robotics. Yeah, I knew they would be loud with that one. Well earned. I feel like we have not been talking about them enough. They are so unbelievably good this year.
And last year.
Last year,
right? The sleeper hit with the Algae Bot, and then this year, dialing it in again, right? Jack in the Bot providing kind of that powerhouse backbone you expect of them, of just tons of fuel barrage. But MI comes in, and they're cleaning out every single corner over there by the Alliance wall, over by the drive station, over top of the little bump over here. any fuel they can find. You called out in the middle of the match just the fuel distribution we saw. Like, it was just all red everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, when the Blue Alliance had their turn, right? They all the fuel was already on the red side of the field. The Red Alliance didn't even give the Blue Alliance a chance. They just wanted to hoard as much as they possibly could over by this side of the field. And as soon as that red light turned on, like the amount of fuel that we saw being dumped by all three of those teams all at the same time, absolutely insane.
There's a ton. And am I just cleaning out all of it, right? And being the sleeper has some interesting advantages strategically because people might kind of just leave you there, especially when you're paired with somebody like 2910. They're going to go focus on that, right? Then they're left wide open to do the thing they're really, really good at.
And of course, that's emptying their hopper in a matter of seconds.
We're also going to empty the desk of content in a matter of seconds here and send it back to Natalie to introduce our next qualification match.
Before we meet our teams, I want to remind all of the alumni in this building that we are going to be taking a photo after the last match of the day. So after qualification 87, come down to the field. We're going to take a quick photo before we close up for the night. Let's meet this Red Alliance, starting with 8051.
From Foster High School in Tukwila, Tank Rex.
They are joined by Team 1294.
From Sammamish, Washington, Pack of Parts.
And we have Team 7034.
They're from West Lynn High School in West Lynn, Oregon, to be determined.
On the blue half of the field, we have Team 9450.
From Woodinville, Washington, they are the Velocity Raptors.
We have Team 3218.
From Bonnie Lake, Washington, that is Panther Robotics.
And rounding out the blue side, give it up for 1983.
A 4-H team from Seattle, Skunkworks Robotics.
Drivers behind the lines. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Qualification match 83 underway. 4 robots dive into the neutral zone. 9450 Velociraptors, they sort of coast on over to center line and back again. They're scoring various pieces of fuel. Panther Robotics 3218 decides to score vaguely in the direction of the front of the field. That's all right, plenty of time to score and tally out 2 minutes and 20 seconds of time, in fact, as we work to clear the field of all of these pieces of fuel. First up on shift is the Red Alliance. They've got about 25 seconds to score fuel. It was a very tight margin, and in fact, Red Alliance now in the lead, 81-69, with 2 minutes left on the clock. They've got 10 seconds left in their shift to try to add any more fuel they can. A few more pieces coming in from 8051, Tank Rex. And now a few more. I've actually got a hopper load of fuel there from 7034 to be determined. They're determined to score in that hub. But first, the Blue Alliance is on the clock. 1983 Skunkworks there in the top right corner of the field. They score some fuel into the Blue Alliance hub. To be determined, they send fuel and a handful of yellow shavings in the direction of the Red Alliance zone. They're stockpiling fuel for their shift in just a couple seconds. Tankworks firing a little bit early there. The hub's lights do now come on to be determined, lining up and scoring in the red hub, but not without the defense of 3218 there. Hopper, unfortunately, falling apart a little bit. It's flopping around in the wind. They'll make their way out to the neutral zone, lifted up in the air. Are they trying to lose that part? Can't quite tell. It's falling apart more and more as they make their way out in the neutral zone. To be determined, out near the red tower, they've got some final pieces of fuel they're tracking down. They'll decide to save that for their final endgame shift. As a collision between kind of 2 red robots, to be determined, pack of parts collide by the blue tower or by the blue trench, but then Panther Robotics sort of gets in there as well with their hopper continuing to just flop around. Either way, to be determined starts to send some of that fuel toward in the direction of the red hub, or of the red side of the field in general. A referee counting there in the bottom right corner. We'll see what the referees have to say at the end of the match. But first, our end game. 30 seconds, actually 23 now on the clock. Still a fairly tight race, 178 to 165, your current live score. We watch to see as either alliance continues to score fuel. Blue Alliance currently actively working on scoring fuel in that hub. Red Alliance, though, now scoring fuel to be determined. Scoring fuel, they're pushing them towards their human players as well. They crossed the 200 mark. 3 seconds left. 2, 1. A valiant effort there and a very tight score, but in the end, we will see. We've got confirmation from our referees, so final scores or the desk on the board. There it is, quick trip back to the rebuilt island. The Red Alliance with the win, 220 to 189, your final score. 3 ranking points for the victory to your Red Alliance. None of them actually really moving in the rankings.
Well, Josh, end of another match here. Only a couple of matches remaining.
87 will be our last today, I think, right?
Yes, so that's what, 5? Nope, that's...
I told you, don't
yep,
trust me.
5. I'm an engineer. I promise I can do math. Or maybe I can't. We do have another Kevin in the Pits queued up for you, and this one is with a AV field volunteer from Team 360. Let's take a look.
So we're down here in the pits, and I wanted to point out that these first events are almost entirely run by volunteers. We have a few staff people, but the reality is we have tons of volunteers, and believe it or not, at least 30% of our volunteers are high school students. Case in point is Ari. Ari, you've been down here in the pits. What have you been doing?
I've been managing the recordings of Kevin in the Pits, and it's been super fun. I've been learning a lot of new stuff, and I'm just super excited to see what volunteering has to offer next time.
And Gav will show us. I mean, there's buttons and knobs and things to look at over here. So this is what the backstage of the production looks like for doing Kevin in the Pits. We have wireless stuff and video stuff. We have tons of AV positions. We have tons of queuing and other volunteer opportunities for students. If you're interested in helping to run these events and feel really good about yourself at the end of the day, always check into finding out if you can volunteer at the events that you're going to. 360 has been an enormous provider of volunteers. If you're looking, if you look down around that field down there, there are a ton of 360 alumni down there. So, yeah.
We have a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Thank you, Ari, for helping out, and we'll see you guys in a little while.
Let's welcome our next set of teams to the field. On the red side, we've got 13-18.
They are the Esquire Robotics Society, or IRS.
We have team 957.
Swarm, South and West Albany Robotics Maniacs.
And we've got team 4450.
The Olympia Robotics Federation.
On the blue side of the field, give it up for team 2976.
They are the Spartabots.
In the middle spot, we've got 9023.
They're the future Martians.
And we have team 2471.
Team Mean Machine.
Drivers behind the lines, we're kicking it off in 3, 2, 1, go.
We've got a green light. We're good to go. Qualification match number 84. 4 robots, 2 red, 2 blue, make their way for the neutral zone as per somewhat usual. 4450 Olympia Robotics Federation. They score in the Red Alliance hub. They go around the neutral zone to grab some more and make their way underneath the red trench to score. 2471 Team Mean Machine. Robot jostling back and forth to score some fuel. After a brief pause for the FMS to count, 9 more fuel scored by the Blue Alliance versus the Red. So the Red Alliance will have their first Alliance-specific shift in the moment, but they do now claim the lead. 105 to 105. The Blue Alliance, they managed to score plenty of fuel during that transition shift, and the Blue Alliance does briefly take the lead, if only by 4 points. Red Alliance now back in the driver's seat here. 9023 Future Martians, they grab some fuel from the neutral zone and make their way, bumping the Mean Machine actually in the center field. Both machines making their way underneath the front and rear trenches just as they go on the clock. 1318 IRS, they race over the Blue Alliance bump, ramping into that zone to potentially play some defense or perhaps steal some fuel. 4450 also on the hunt for some fuel. Olympia Robotics Federation, they bump into their partner 957. Swarm, and actually I think a piece of fuel jostles from 957 into 2976, the Spartabots today. One piece of fuel out of their hopper, I'm sure it's going to make all the difference. Red Alliance, 181 to 238. They're slightly behind now, but they are on the clock here on their offensive shift. So they could potentially add some more points to their score. I don't see any added just quite yet. Olympia Robotics Federation doing a little bit of a spin, trying to get away from the defense being played by 2976 and Spartabots out there in the far left side of the field. 1318 IRS pushing up against 9023, the Future Martians. Just as that red shift expires, we hop on over to the Blue Alliance side of the field. IRS, they're in the bottom right corner. I see some sort of trail, like a belt or perhaps a cable following their robot. They may be slightly out of commission, at least on their intake or some other mechanism, perhaps, in the remaining seconds of our match. 37 seconds left now on the clock as we approach endgame. A Blue Alliance specific shift currently in progress. Future Martians, they score fuel in the Blue Alliance hub, or at least in the general direction of it. Now both alliances active here, 30 seconds left to go in the match. IRS, once again, they ramp up over the Blue Alliance ramps or bumps and play some defense there, trying to slow down some of the scoring effort and now make their way back home in the neutral zone. 4450 ORF, they score some fuel as well. Red Alliance, slightly behind as the Blue Alliance continues to score. Mean Machine now in the Blue Alliance hub. Iris doing the best they can to defend, but Slags wave in the bottom right and top right corner of the field. We'll have to see what our referees have to say about the penalties and the other various hub counting and whatever, all the chaos happens here at Pacific Northwest District Championship. Scores confirmed by our head referee, so back to the board and back to the beach we go. And Haas F1 car reveals the Blue Alliance is the victor in that match. 427 to 304, your final tally. 5 ranking points moves all of your Blue Alliance teams upwards in the rankings. Red Alliance did some great work there too. They earned the Energized bonus.
All right, Josh, we've ended yet another match and a quite wonderful set of scores that we saw here. And I want to talk about one of these teams and the robot that they built, and that's Team 9023, Future Martians.
Such a unique robot, too.
Very unique robot. And I want to talk specifically about their decision to go one fixed shooter, one turreted shooter.
Yeah.
And we saw them in the middle of the field, and unfortunately our telestrator...
Oh, it's working.
Oh, it's working now? We have it back. Okay.
I say that very assertively.
Maybe
like
it works. If we could get the replay pulled up. We see them in the middle of the field here using that turret, and if we can roll this clip here, using this turret to effectively go and grab all of that fuel in the middle of the field, send it over to their alliance partners. We see Mean Machine doing the same thing. But watch what happens when they then go back over to their own side of the field. As the transition over to the blue side comes up here. And I've mistimed a little bit here, but now we're transitioning over, and now we're gonna see that they lock in with the back of their robot, and now they have both of their shooters going at the same time as if they were a fixed shooter, which doubles their
bandwidth,
their fuel per second, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's absolutely wild to watch. And like seeing, you called out another point in the match where they're twisting around the hub and launching with just the one that can rotate. Like they've got software control in there knowing which turret is wise to use at a given time, so they're not wasting fuel either that they have to go chase back down later.
Exactly. They had that one turret that was locked in, was shooting, and as soon as the fixed shooter was then in range, the fixed shooter also started shooting, which was quite awesome to see. Also awesome to see will be our next match, so we'll have a quick break here, and then we'll see you on the field.
Our penultimate qualification match.
We're almost done with the day. We're playing through match 87. Let's meet our teams. We've got team 2486.
From Maple Valley, Washington, bare metal.
In the middle spot, we've got 997.
From Corvallis, Oregon, that's Spartan Robotics.
And rounding off the red side, give it up for 2412.
They're from Bellevue, Washington, and they are the Robo Totes.
On the blue half of the field, we've got 753.
From Bend, Oregon, the High Desert Droids.
In the middle, we have 4131.
From Renton, Washington, the Iron Patriots.
And rounding out blue, give it up for 8248.
From Seattle, Washington, the Chain Links.
Drivers behind the lines, we are kicking it off in 3, 2, 1, go.
Qualification 85, our anti-penultimate match of the day. Robototes, they leap into the neutral zone. They're joined by several other robots. 997, Spartan Robotics did briefly cross that center line, and referees said flag something there. So we'll have to see what they have to say at the end of the match. We're far from the end of the match, though. We're 3 seconds left in Autonomous. Red Alliance currently in the lead. Some final shots, different human players as well, and that leaves us with a 96-66 live score. Just 30 more fuel in favor of the Red Alliance, and that does mean the Blue Alliance will have the first Alliance-specific shift. Chain links with a couple of fuel directly vertical in the air. They make their way back underneath the Blue Alliance trench, but not before they say hello to the I believe it was the Robototes. Can't quite tell as a fuel launches all the way across into the audience along the front side of the field. Robototes now back at home underneath the Red Alliance trench. They're getting ready for their next Red Alliance shift. They're joined by Bare Metal with a overflowing hopper of fuel, and as they go on the clock, that fuel makes its way into the Red Alliance hub, furthering their lead. Blue Alliance working on getting some fuel out of their zone. It's a robot sandwich between Chain Links and Iron Patriots. They had a Red Alliance robot team 997 Spartan Robotics in between them for the moment, but now they make their way back over to the Blue Alliance side. It's going to be 7-5 Freeze High Desert Droids in with some fuel as they go on the clock. 41-31, the Iron Patriots looking to score as well. They're in the quarter. 997 Spartan Robotics playing some defense, perhaps they're stealing fuel actually as they send it all the way to the other side of the field into Red Alliance territory. We're back at home. They've got the Robototes waiting, ready and awaiting. They actually spit out some fuel for some reason towards the direction of their human players. They wait anxiously for that hub activation, which is now. Lights illuminate on the hub, and that hub is processing fuel at 1 point per piece of fuel. Chainlink's A248 along the center line. They send fuel into the Blue Alliance territory. They're stockpiling as well, as this is the last Alliance-specific shift of the match. We're 5 seconds out from end game, so we'll have to see how both alliances respond. And Bare Metal up there in the top left corner, disconnected. You see a flashing stack light in at their driver's station. We'll see what happens. Still a fairly tall lead here, a fairly tall order, 343 to 255 in favor of the Red Alliance at the moment. So we shall see if the Blue Alliance is able to score. Robototes with a hopper load of fuel. Their priority right now, they make their way to the Blue Alliance side of the field. Actually, nope, they changed their mind. Back over they go to the Red Alliance side. Chain Links lining up with the hub. 3 seconds left on the clock. High Desert Droids, they try to get some fuel in as well. A valiant effort from both alliances, various circumstances for either side. We shall see what happens after final review. Sure, the sports desk is thrilled with that result, but our head referee has confirmed the scores, so up on the big screen. The Red Alliance, ultimately the victor in qualification match number 85. 349 to 287, the final tally. A valiant effort from both alliances. Energized bonus to both, but free ranking points for the win to your Red Alliance.
So.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Pretty tired. A little fire. How about well, looks like the same for you?
Yeah, I'm a little on fire. Let's go to Kevin in the pits.
All right, we're here with Michaela from the Cyborgs 4061. Michaela, I have one too, but Michaela's voice is very weak today, but her story is awesome. You are from a fantastic family of FIRST students. Your older sister went through the program, now you're going through the program. Tell me about how FIRST has helped you, and tell me about your internship.
Yeah, so FIRST has really expanded my public speaking skills. After my sophomore year, a mentor came in and said that Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories was looking for an intern. So I applied not expecting to get it, but my interview went really well, and all the skills that I had in public speaking came from my time on the team, and I ended up getting the internship. And now not only am I learning skills through that internship, I also get to see what other engineers in the company are doing, and it solidified my career path of that I want to do electrical engineering.
So I think that is so awesome. You're still a junior, and so you'll be with us for at least another year. What sort of things are you doing at your internship?
So I'm doing an organizational project for one of the buildings at SEL. So I get to monitor things, make sure that everyone has what they need.
That is so cool, and what a great opportunity for a high school student. Schweitzer is a great company. They do really interesting stuff. Look them up on the internet. They do big things with big power. It's really cool. And so I'm so excited for you, and thank you so much for talking to us, and best of luck. And I have a feeling I'm going to interview again next year because I need to find out what's going on.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, thanks.
We are getting closer to the end of the day. Let's welcome back our next group of teams on the red side of the field. We've got 492.
From Bellevue, Washington, the Titan Robotics Club.
Also from Bellevue, give it up for 948.
That's from Newport High School, NRG, the Newport Robotics Group.
And we've got team 2926.
From Wapata, Washington, RoboSparks.
On the Blue Alliance, we have team 4125.
From Umatilla, Oregon, Confidential.
They are joined by team 10,079.
From Buffalo, Washington, Aerodynamics.
And give it up for team 2512.
2522, also from Buffalo, Royal Robotics.
Drivers behind the lines, match 86, starting in 3, 2, 1, go!
20 seconds of autonomous on the clock. 2 red robots, 1 blue robot. Flags generally wave in that direction of the center field, so we'll see what referees, again, have to say at the end of the match. 948 and 492, two Bellevue Alliance teams, generally in the vicinity of the Red Alliance hub. A fuel output from the Red Alliance hub into the 492. General flags waving both at the front and rear of the field. Anyways, we're back in tally-op now. 2 minutes and 12 seconds on the clock. And a live score in favor of the Red Alliance. That means a Blue Alliance shift begins now. 25 seconds on the clock for them to score as much fuel as they can in the direction of the Blue Hub. Ideally inside of the Blue Hub, but you know, they've got the spirit of shooting it in the general direction of the Blue Hub towards center field. That's right, 25-22 Royal Robotics. They're joined by their alliance partner, 1K79. And off they go again. Now on the Red Alliance's turn, 41-25. Confidential Umatilla, Oregon, they're on the defensive again. We've seen them score a little bit of fuel earlier in our qualification day, but they decided to go into defensive here and slow down some of their Red Alliance opponents. NRG 948, the robot Kirby, trying to find an opening to score some fuel. They do just now behind the Red Hub. Just as time expires on that shift, we make our way back to the Blue Alliance side. 10K79, Aerodynamics, the second-year team out of Awful. They line up with some fuel. They look to lock on to that Blue Alliance hub. They score just behind them. Actually pushing them out of position is Royal Robotics, 25-22. 29-26 as well. The Robo Sparks from Wapata, Washington, trying to gather some fuel as they make their way vaguely near the Blue Trench, but again, they end up staying in the Blue Alliance side of the field for the moment. 41-25 Confidential continuing on their defensive shenanigans as they have their eyes locked on Kirby in 948. 948, they ride on 2 wheels underneath the Red Tower with 37 seconds left on the clock. Score still in favor of the Red Alliance as we approach our endgame shift. 948 NRG on their way over to Red Alliance bump. They coast on over to the neutral zone. 492 Titan Robotics Club as well joining them. NRG had a piece of fuel wave or kind of ride along with them out of the Blue Hub and then land on the floor. Referee's gonna call what they call. That's their job to do. We just watched the match. 41-25 out of Umatilla, Oregon. Confidential, they chase down a Red Alliance team towards the tower. 948 finds a safe place to park as they launch roughly half of their hopper into the Red Alliance hub. We saw various referee flags waving across that match, so we'll let our referees finalize those scores. We'll be back in a moment. And in an actually fairly quick moment, thumbs up from our head referee means our scores are ready. The Red Alliance ultimately does walk away with the win there. 311-276, the final tally. 4 ranking points for that win go to your Red Alliance. NRG remaining where they are, level at 7th.
Josh, most of that match, quite close.
Yeah, I mean, a tie quite a lot of the way through. You'd see a swing 20, 30 points at a time, 20, 30 points the other way. But overall, very even match all the way through. And we've seen actually quite a number of those. I mean, just a very deep roster here of highly competitive teams. We've kind of harped on that over and over. But it makes for some really nice matches to watch, some like balanced matches to watch, right? Like it's one thing to watch a blowout and yeah, okay, 600 to 100, like, okay, cool, good, 600 points, it's cool. But it's really fun to watch the ones where you don't really know who's going to win until the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we see a lot of those here at the district championships. We're now at the point where the teams have really started to kind of hone in on their robot and their programming, and they know what to fix, when to fix it. And so these matches come to a much closer result at the end where, you know, you're not really sure who's going to win. And it's quite exciting to see.
Yeah, and our leaderboard after that one, and as we start winding down the night, because this will be kind of our last chance to check in on it, our stats are still predicting Bare Metal stays atop the leaderboard. Jack in the Bot, we're predicting stays in the 2nd or 3rd position. They've got some room to move around, just one spot there. 955 anywhere from 2nd to 6th. And still, what is this? 15 teams in contest for the top 8 positions.
Quite a few this late in the competition, to be honest. Tomorrow we only have, 13 matches?
Less than that, but it sounds like we have less than 13 words. I might have just used most of them. Natalie, take it away.
All right, everyone, before we meet our teams, we need to celebrate that we have had quite a day here in Cheney. We have seen a 6 ranking point match. We celebrated the Artemis Splashdown all together, and we have seen fuel causing our field to e-stop, among a million other amazing things that have happened. So give yourself a round of applause, everyone. We have a couple of announcements and reminders before this match starts. Pits will close immediately at the conclusion of this match. So when match 87 is over, pits are closed and you need to be making your way out. With that, we are still taking our alumni photo, so you can make your way here to the field if you're an alumni to be in that photo. And then tomorrow morning, we have opening ceremonies starting at 8:30 a.m. So we will play this match, say goodbye, and see you again tomorrow morning at 8:30. As we close out our venue, it will get dark. Again, there will be those flashing lights while we test the field and get some things situated. So just be aware of that as you are leaving. With that, let's meet our teams for the last match of the day. Match 87. Give it up for team 8896.
From E.B. Walker High School in Puyallup, Washington, Wolf Tech Robotics.
We've got team 2910.
They're from Henry M. Jackson High School in Mill Creek, Washington, Jack in the Bot.
And we have team 10991.
A rookie team from Sandy High School in Sandy, Oregon, the Pyobites.
On the Blue Alliance, give it up for team 1425.
From Wilsonville High School in Wilsonville, Oregon, Error Code 0.
From Bend, Oregon, we've got 5468.
They're from Summit High School, that's Chaos Fury.
And rounding out, we've got a team from Tacoma, it's 360.
They are from the Bellarmine Preparatory School, the Revolution.
Cheney, count it down with me. Drivers behind the lines. In 3, 2, 1, go!
Final qualification match of the day. Hopefully we are not jinxed if our history is to go anything by. Let's see what happens. Blue Alliance scoring fuel quickly in the blue hub. Red Alliance working as well. 2910, Jack in the Bot. They're on the field. Making their way up over the Red Alliance bump. They've got a half load of fuel in their hopper. Up it goes in the Red Alliance hub. Blue Alliance in the lead out of that autonomous. 2 teams from Oregon, 1 team from Tacoma, Washington on that alliance. And that does mean they'll be going over to a Red Alliance initial shift here after this transition. 10991, the Pyobites working with their alliance partners to get some fuel in the direction of their hub. 2910, Jack the Bot doing the best they can. They score a hopper load of fuel, sweeping into that Red Alliance hub. Not quite sure who the underdogs are here. We've got a rookie team. We've got some various teams from Oregon on the field. But either way, Red Alliance still in their shift. They're scoring some more fuel. Jack in the Bot with another sweep there just as time expires. We make our way to the other side of the field. Blue Alliance working away at it. Chaos Fury working from the underneath of the blue tower. They sweep fuel from that Alliance wall into the Blue Alliance hub. 360 the Revolution. They got a cart full of fuel from the shopping market. And they launched that fuel into the Blue Alliance hub. And 1425 Error Code 0 to add to that as well. Red Alliance, that was a little bit earlier in my eye from Jack in the Bot. But that sweep of fuel mostly does get counted by the Red Alliance hub. They score plenty of points there for the Red Alliance. They are, though, slightly behind, 324 to 223 in favor of Blue with 1 minute and change left to play in the match. Final seconds here on the Red Alliance shift. I see some sort of robot bits in front of the Red Alliance hub. Can't quite tell what that is. Either way, Blue Alliance now on the clock in their final line-specific shift. They're quickly scoring fuel in the Blue Alliance hub. Jack in the Bot doing what they can. They pass a hopper load of fuel in the direction of the top left corner of the field. And they go now, actually their alliance partner, Wolf Tech Robotics, goes to disrupt 360 in their scoring on the Blue Alliance side of the field. Final seconds here in the match, 30 of them, in fact. And the Blue Alliance surging ahead, 534 to 329. Your live score, 29-10. Briefly stalled out with two of their wheels up off the carpet on top of some cargo. 29-10 now collecting a hopper load of fuel. They've got plenty of fuel stockpiled up in the top left corner of the field. Let's see if they can make use of it in the hub. And unfortunately, their Third Alliance partner, E-stopped. That is the rookie team, the Paya by Team 10991. Can't quite tell from my perspective if Chaos Theory is off the ground, but I do see a hook on that level 1 bar. That's a heck of a score up there, 6-3-8, 3-8-6. Those numbers kind of rhyme if you reorder them a little bit. Not quite a palindrome, but it's something there. And with a thumbs up from our head referee, we've got our scores in for qualification match number 87. So up on the big screen we go. And it is the Blue Alliance with victory in qualification match number 87, their final match of the day, 665 to 389. The final score. Chaos Theory remains in fourth, courtesy of 5 ranking points. Red Alliance, for that matter, they earned 2 ranking points for these fuel bonuses. Jack in the Bot remains where they are in second, as do their other Alliance partners.
Just an astronomical score to end our day, but really, you know, a tale of the wins of the RP system there. That even though One Alliance not getting the result they were looking for in that one, they still were they quite able to clinch? Oh, not quite. Still, though, the 2 RP, they needed to hold the second rank position there for Jack in the Bot over 955 in third. They are still neck and neck for that one. Jack needed 1 RP to keep holding on to the second position. Still one more match for them to play tomorrow to see where things actually shake out. And it looks like we're down to, now this is, again, my math, so maybe take it with a grain of salt, but it looks like 12 or 14 teams still in contention for our top 8 spots in our last quals matches tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're going to see especially some of these teams chomping at the bits, trying to get into those picking positions, or at least right below those picking positions. And the battle at the top of the field is going to be quite tight.
Yeah, Jake, and I don't know if, are we going to have another, are we going to have a straight down the line Alliance selection like you see in some orderly districts?
I want chaos.
Are you going to see a complete
chaos
down?
Yeah,
it wouldn't be Northwest District champs otherwise. Folks, it has been a long day, so make sure you go home and get some sleep. Who am I kidding? I was a scouting lead. I know there's no sleep on Friday night.
Everyone's going to be awake till midnight.
Scouting meeting at 3 in the morning. I know the drill. But before then, alumni photo down here on the field for those of us who have found no exit strategy from this situation.
We're stuck here forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, reminder, flashing lights warning after the alumni photo, so if you are sensitive to that, you'll want to hightail it on out of here. And in the meantime, good night, safe travels, and we will catch you in the morning.
Goodbye.
All right, alumni. We would love to have alumni, whether you're an alumni volunteer, alumni mentor, alumni from just a spectator. Come on down to the field. We're going to have a nice little group photo. There's all these Jack in the Bot alumni. Get over here. Come on, alumni. You're alumni. Get your butts over here. You can't hide from me. I know you people. Yep. What about that? All right, alumni. I could have come over here and opened it for you. I feel bad about that now, but I'm over it already. It didn't last long. All right, alumni, you can come in down here if you'd like. Nice big opening. James Byrne, get yourself out here. You are an alumni. James.
All right. You need to be on. Hey, we kind of like each other. Scooching in, scooching in. James, yay for James. All right. All right. What? Somebody gave Kevin a microphone. That was a mistake. Keep going. Be on the field more on the field. All right. Don't move. He's going to back the ladder up. Go right over there. Okay. All right. Wait, before you leave, I have something to say. I know that's unbelievable, but I want to make sure that you realize how much appreciated you are. You're alumni. You're still involved with this program. You are the next generation of the program. You may have noticed my hair has gotten grayer and I can't actually get all the way down on the ground anymore. You guys are now, it's time for you guys to take over, which is already happening. I am so proud of each and every one of you for staying with the program. You experienced it for yourself. You are now extending that experience to all the students. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
It is also a mistake to give your audio guy a microphone.
Josh, that's the speaker one. I need the entry cue. Hey Josh, I need the entry one, not the speaker one. Yeah.
How about no?